Okay, I think we should start. I'm just waiting for the YouTube to go live. Okay, let me start the got to the computer. Okay, we will start uh, with the Shuklam Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashantaye Dorbhiryukta Chaturbir Spatika Manimayi Makshamalam Dadhana Haste Naikena Padmam Sitamapicha Shukam Pustakam Chaparena Bhasa Kundendu Shankas Spatika Nibha Samana Samana Same Vagdevateyam Nivasatu Vadane Sarvada Suprasanna Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shunvan Rama Katanadam Konayati Param Gatim Goshpati Kritavarashim Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Nilatmajam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Pāṣpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vachayati Prapanjana Sute Tatvam Munibhya Param Vyakhyantam Bharatati Viparivritam Ramam Bhaje Syamalam Namostu Ramaya Lakshmanaya Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyaha Namostu Chandrarka Marudganebhyaha Harihi Om. So we have been doing Gita Jayanti for the last 6-7 years continuously. Unfortunately, this year on account of the pandemic, we could not do the usual Gita Jayanti. But I hope many of you are able to join in that Vyoma which we had organized. I could see many of you, I'm sure you all would have benefited in your own ways, because they did a very nice way of chanting the 18 chapters. Hopefully next year we will resume our Gita Jayanti in the physical mode with the blessing of the Lord. Anyway, so last class we stopped at Indrajit came into the battlefield, and after a fierce verbal duel between Lakshmana and Indrajit, they finally got into exchanging different arrows between the astras and shastras and so on. And where we stopped was Indrajit chariot was destroyed, charioteer was killed, the horses were sort of killed. All that happened. That's where we stopped last week. So Indrajit quickly went back to Lanka and charged himself with a new chariot and came back. I think that's where we stopped. 89th Sarga is where we stopped last class. So we will continue from there. So as we know, most of the leaders are gone. Kumbhakarna is gone. today Indrajit will also go. And what is remaining is a handful of leaders with Ravana. That is where we have come in terms of the war as we are seeing it in the Yuddhakāndam. Okay, so 90th Sarga, basically, as I was saying, Indrajit returns to Lanka because his charioteer was killed, his horses were killed and chariot damaged and so on. So while he asked the Rakshasa armies to keep fighting, he quickly disappears from the scene, and then he disappears from the scene and goes to Lanka and charges himself with a new chariot. That's the first 24 shlokas describes those. Then shloka 25 to 67. So he comes back and the fight continues. Lakshmana kills the charioteer of Indrajit. Vibhīšaņa kills the horses of the chariot. There is a reason why Vibhīšaņa did it. We will see that. Then Lakshmana and Indrajit deploy a variety of astras and shastras at each other. And then finally, the Lakshmana finally take the one astra of Indra and kills Indrajit. And upon killing of the Indrajit, obviously the Rakshasas were so afraid, and so they all flee into Lanka. So that's how this 90th chapter is where Indrajit is killed. Chapter. Saraterasya charane ratino ragusattamah shiro jahara dharmatma ballena nata parvana. Sharatehe asya, sharaterasya. In Sandhi it becomes sharaterasya. The visarga becomes ra, which I have been repeatedly telling you. Sharatehe asya charane ratinaha ragusattamah shiraha jahara dharmatma ballena anata parvana. So that is the padacheda here. So asya saratehe ratinaha ragusattamah sharatehe shiraha jahara rane. So Raghusattama is actually Lakshmana. Dharmatma is also the adjective for Lakshmana. So Dharmatma Raghusattamaha Ratinaha Asya Sharatehe Shiraha Rane Jahara. So in the battle, Rane Ratinaha Saratasya Shiraha, that charioteer, na? Jahara. He took away the head or eliminated the head. How? Ballena Anata Parvana. Ballena, the name of the astra he used was called Balla. So Ballena Anata Parvana, which was looking curved at its, its ends are curved like that. So he used that arrow called Balla, with which he killed once again the charioteer of the new chariot. Remember, Indrajit went in and then brought another chariot because his earlier one was destroyed. Asutaste hayastatra ratamuhura viklavaha mandalan yabidhavantaha tadabu tadadbhutamiva bhavat. Asutaha te hayaha. I am doing the padacheda now. Asutaha te hayaha tatra ratam uhuhu aviklavaha mandalani. In the second line, mandalani abhidavantaha tat adbhutam Iva abhavat. So there are so many, it's a, as you see, line 2 is a single line with sandhi. It's not a single word, but single line. There are so many sandhis. So mandalani, first pada is mandalani. Then the second pada we have to take is abhidavantah. Okay. So moment you say abhidavantah, the sakara will go. So what we will remember is what remain is the remaining. So then tada tada will become tat. Then adbhutam. Then iva. Then abhavat. Adbhutam iva bhavat. So there are so many. It is only a sandhi. It is not a complicated word. It's only a sandhi. Now moment you split it, obviously the meaning becomes much easier. Asutaha. Suta means charioteer. So asutaha means those who are without the charioteer. It is in plural. So those without a charioteer. Sutaha yesham nasti. For those who don't have a charioteer, it is meaning the horses actually. So hayaha, it is coming immediately. Hayaha. Hayaha asutaha te. Those horses which are bereft of the charioteer because he has been killed. Tatra, there. Ratam uhuhu. Aviklavaha. They were undisturbed. Right? So they were just drawing the chariot. Although the charioteer is killed, it appeared the horses were undisturbed and they were drawing the chariot. Ratam uhuhu. Aviklavaha. And how? Mandalani. Mandalam means circle, right? Round or circle or something. So basically what is happening is the charioteer has been killed, but the chariot is going round and round because that's how the horses are running. So mandalani abhidavantaha tat adbhutam iva about that looked very strange. They were not being, the reins are not in the hands of the charioteer, but nevertheless the horses were just going round. So tad adbhutam iva abhavat. That looked very strange, very, indeed adbhutam, wonderful to see. That's what Valmiki says. Tatas samarakopena samvruto ravanatmajaha Vibhīṣaṇam tribirbanaihi vivyāda vadane shubhe. In between I skipped a few shlokas. So now it is saying tataha, thereafter, samaraha kopena, filled with the anger, the fist of anger in a war. Kopena samvrutaha ravanatmajaha, Ravanasya atmajaha, who is Indrajit. What did he do? Vibhīṣaṇam tribihi banehi vivyāda. He used 3 arrows. Vivyāda. Shubhe vadane. In his auspicious face, he actually put 3 arrows. Stuck his face with 3 arrows. So Indrajit actually provoked Vibhīṣaṇa. That's the point. Vibhīṣaṇa actually did not want to directly engage in a fight. Vibhīṣaṇa was, of course, helping the Vanara army and Rāma and everybody, giving vital clues and all help and so on, but he was not really fighting. As we saw in the last class, he found it difficult to fight. So he was not fighting. But this fellow, Indrajit, provoked him by hitting him with 3 arrows. So what did Vibhīṣaṇa do in retaliation? I've just skipped one sloka. I've gone to the other sloka, which says exactly what happened. Tasmai dridataram kruddaha jagana gadayahayan Vibhīṣaṇo mahateja Ravane suduratmanaha. Tasmai dridataram jagana gadaya. Tasmai hayan dridataram jagana hadaya. Tasmai kruddaha. Because of that, he was very, very angered by this act. Dridataram gadaya hayan jagana. So he actually killed with his gada, he actually killed the horses. Instead of attacking the brother's son, he killed the horses. Okay, with his gada. Vibhīṣaṇah mahateja teja Ravanesa saha duratmanah. So saha duratmanah Ravanehe. Ravanehe means Ravani iti padasya Sashti Vibhakti. So Ravanehe Hayana. So he killed the horses of Indrajit. That is the meaning. Saha duratmanaha Ravanehe Hayana Jagana. Gadaya Jagana. So since Vibhīṣaṇa was provoked, Vibhīṣaṇa played his part because Lakshmana has killed the charioteer. Now Vibhīṣaṇa is actually killed the horses of Indrajit's the second chariot. So now Indrajit is bereft of charioteer and he is bereft of the horses also. He has come back to the same position as he was before in the last Sarga. Then fighting happens. In between there are 20 shlokas which I have actually skipped. Nearly 20-25 slokas where that fierce fighting happened. So many astras and shastras on both sides they were exchanging. Then what happens? Tadaindramastram saumitrihi samyugeshvaparajitam sara vikarshanidam abravit Lakshmivan Lakshmano vakyam arthasadakamatmanah. So we do the padacheda. Tada Indram, tada plus Indram, tada Indram. Tada Indram astram saumitrihi samyugeshu. There it will be sanyugeshu, actually, sanyugeshu, aparajitam. See, remember that sa followed by that dot on the top, that is called anunasika. Okay, because it is followed by ya. Since it is ya, that yim should be pronounced in a way it is agreeable to the next letter, which is ya. So you should say sanyugeshu. Although I said samyugeshu, is actually sanyugeshu. That yim should be pronounced as a anunasika. Sanyugeshu aparajitam. That is what we should say. Sanyugeshu aparajitam sarasreshtam dhanuhu sreshte vikarshan idam abravit, idam ibravit. No, it must be a abravit, idam abravit. It should be makara, not mikara. Me is not correct, I think. Idam abravit. Lakshmivan Lakshmanaha vakyam artha sadakam atmanah. So this is how it is. Tada Indramastram, this astra presided by Indra, Sanyugeshu aparajitam. So everything is an adjective for that astra. Sanyugeshu aparajitam, that which cannot be easily defeated in a battle. Sanyugeshu aparajitam. Sarasreshtam, which is one of the best of the missiles. Okay. So he took that idam astram, indram astram, which is sanyugeshu aparajitam. It is sreshta among the sharas. He took that dhanusreshte vikarshan idam abravit. He, by placing it in his sreshta dhanu, sreshte dhanuhu vikarshan idam abravit. He said like this. Lakshmivan, who said? Lakshmivan Lakshmanaha vakyam arthasadakam atmanaha. He said the following. So what happened was, actually he uttered a certain shloka. It's a very nice, famous shloka. If people do Ramayana Parayana, these shlokas are all part of it in the Purvanga, in the Karanyasa, all that. When we do, these shlokas will come. That's why these shlokas are very important. So he uttered a shloka and he released the Indrastra, which killed actually Indrajit. That is how it happened. So this is what it is saying. Let us see what that shloka is. So this is that shloka. So he for a moment meditated on this shloka and then left the shara. Dharmatma satyasandascha Ramo dasharatir yadi paurushe cha pradidvandaha tadenam jahi ravanim. So this is that shloka. This shloka says, Dharmatma satyasandascha Ramaha dasharatihi yadi paurushaye cha apradidvandaha tat yenam jahi ravanim. So he says, yadi. This is all saying if Rama was a Dharmatma, if Rama is really Rama is a Dharmatma, if Rama is really a Satyasanda, if Rama is really the Dasharati, and if Rama is apratidvanda, dvandva in dual nobody can, he is second to none actually. Apratidvandva, there is no one second to him, second to none we say in English. In Sanskrit you have to say apratidvanda. In Paurushe, in what? In his prowess. If that are all true, this is what Lakshmana is saying. If all these are true, then let this Indrastra go and Jahi Ravanim. Yenam is that Astram. Jahi Ravanim. Yenam Ravanim Jahi, sorry. Yenam Ravanim Jahi. Let this Indrajit be killed. So that is the shloka he uttered and released the arrow. So, I was long back, I was listening to somebody. So they gave a very different interpretation to this. There is a lot of scope for creativity in interpreting many of these shlokas. So I heard a very interesting interpretation of this shloka, which comes to my memory now. According to that Pravachaka, what he said was, Dharmatma. When Lakshmana said Dharmatma, the arrow did not go apparently. Why? Because Rama was not a Dharmatma. And the reason was he killed a lady called, she in Yuddhakāndam. She killed Tatakasyaha Vadaha. So she killed Tataka. So this gentleman was saying the arrow did not go because strictly he was not a Dharmatma in the sense that he should not have killed a lady. So the arrow did not go. This was his interpretation. Then Lakshmana said Satyasandaha. Even then the arrow did not go. So his interpretation was, in a way Rama is not a Satyasanda because he killed Vali by hiding behind somewhere. That was his interpretation. So the arrow was not going. Then Lakshmana said Dasharati. Even then this arrow did not go according to him. And his interpretation was, he is not a Dasharati because Antim Karyam he didn't do for his father. Unfortunately, he could not do. So his interpretation is it did not go. But finally, when he said Paurushe cha apradidvandaha, when Lakshmana said in prowess, in his valor and his might and all that, there is none second to him, then this Astra said, let me go and kill him. He gave a very different kind of interpretation. But the fact is, anyway, he uttered this mantra, he uttered this shloka, he meditated for a while and then released the Astra, Indrastra. That's what Lakshmana finally did. So what happened? It went and hit Indrajit. Tachira Shashirastranam Srimajwalita Kundalam Pramate Indrajita Kayat papata dharani dale. So what it says is tat shiraha, which is the his Indrajit shira. Tat shiraha sashirastranam. Also that which was protecting his shira. Okay. Srimad Jolita Kundalam, which was adorned with this kundala and all that. Okay. Pramatendrajitaha kayat, from his body. Pramatendrajitaha. Okay. Papata dharani tale. So that astra which came and hit his head, what it did was it removed the head along with that protection which he had on the head, which was decorated with Jalita Kundalani and all that. That fell on the ground. Papata dharani tale. Tat raksasa tanujasya chinnaskandam shiro mahate tapaniya nibham bhumau dadrishe rudirokshitam. Tat rakshasa tanujasya. Tanuja is the son. Rakshasa tanujasya, that is Ravana's son actually. Chinnaskandam, that which was chinna, cut. Skandam, shoulder. Shoulder means the top up to the shoulder. Shiraha mahat. Tapaniya nibam, it was sparkling, shining. Tapaniya nibam bhumau dadrishe, it was seen on the ground. Rudira akshitam, rudirokshitam, and it was all stained with blood because it has been cut, no? Rudirokshitam, so moistened with blood, it fell on the ground. So it was seen on the ground. Dadrishe, bhumau dadrishe. So in this Sarga, over, Indrajit has been killed. It's a penultimate wicket to fall. What is remaining is only Ravana now. 91st Sarga, which is they go and tell Rāma. That is what it's a short Sarga of 26 shlokas. Rāma was informed of the fall of Indrajit. Rāma feels very relieved and happy. There are two shlokas which I want to show you. And then Rāma requests that the warriors be treated for their injuries. So Suseshana or somebody says, please treat all these people with injuries. They have been heavily, wounded and so on. So that's how it's a very short Sarga. So what did Rāma say when he heard about Indrajit's death? Adyaham vijaya shatrau hate tasmin duratmani Ravanasya nrishamsasya dishtya viratvayarane chinno hi dakshino bahu sahitasya vyapashrayah Vibhīṣaṇa madbhyam kritam karma mahatrane. Adya aham vijaya shatrau hate tasmin duratmani Ravanasya nishumsasya drishtya vira tvaya rane. So here we have to collect from different padas from both the lines to make sense. So adya aham vira and Ravanasya nishumsasya shatrau hate duratmani shatrau hate. So because of this evil-minded enemy has been killed, Duratmanaha Ravanasya Vijaya Viraha Tvayarane. So by you, he is telling this to actually Lakshmana that you have killed, right? Toya rane hataha duratmani tasmin adyaham shatrau toya rane vira vijaya. So you have won over that, so which I am happy. Then he says, Drishtya, fortunately you, so these lines are all connected. So I put all the four together. Drishtya, Ravanasya nishamsasya dakshina bahuhu chinnaha. So from the second line, you have now go to the third line. Ravanasya nishamsasya dakshina dakshinaha bahuhu chinnaha. His right hand has been severed. Drishtya, fortunately. Right? And then he says, Vibhīṣaņa Hanumadbyam Kritam Karma Mahatrane. So, and I think Vibhīṣaņa and Hanuman, from what I have heard from all of you, Vibhīṣaņa and Hanuman also has done some great help in the, because Vibhīṣaņa only took him to the place where Indrajit was doing. He was telling him all the secrets of what has to be done and all that. Vibhīṣaņa destroyed the horses. Hanuman did a massive damage to the army to begin with. That's what we saw last week, if you remember. So Rama says that Vibhīṣaņa Hanumadbyam Kritam Karma Mahat Karma Kritam Rane. A great act was performed in the battlefield. See, he says, Tasya Ravanasya Nishumsasya Vipashyaha Dakshinaha Bahuhu Chinnaha Toya Rane Veera. All these we have to put them together. So it says, you have killed this person, Duratmanaha, and by doing that, you have chipped off the right hand of Ravana. So I am very happy. Fortunately, it has happened. I am happy. And Hanuman and Vibhīṣaṇa has also played a very important role in this process. So this is what Rama's remark was when he heard of this whole act of killing of Indrajit. And 92nd Sarga, Ravana is angry, not angery, angry, vows to kill Sita. So, but he was stopped. So there are 68 verses here. First 15 verses, Ravana was informed of Indrajit's death. So he really laments, because it was a rude shock for him. When Kumbhakarna went itself, he was shaken. Now with Indrajit going, it would have been a very rude shock for Ravana. So he was lamenting, but then it turned into, deep anger. So he was enraged. So he decides to kill Sita. He says, I'll finish off this lady. So he goes ferocious. He goes to Ashokavana. Those are described in the next, 28 shlokas. Then 44 to 59. So 16 shlokas. Sita was terrified, and there were so many thoughts which were going in her mind. Why is this fellow coming here to kill me? Has the two brothers have been killed, or this has happened, that has happened? If that has happened, how is it that, Kaushalya is going to, for all her waiting has become vain? Like that, several thoughts go into her mind as to why Ravana has come to kill her. She was quite terrified. Now, while he was about to sort of do that dastardly act, Suparshva prevents Ravana from doing it. Remember, when in the Yuddhakāndam we saw it, when Hanuman was dragged into the court of Ravana, the first thing that Ravana said is, kill Hanuman. At that time, Vibhīṣaṇa was there. Vibhīṣaṇa said, Dūta Vada is improper. He said, you are a great king, you have read and all that, you should not do like that. In a similar way, very similar to that, now Vibhīṣaṇa is not there. In the similar way, Suparshva does the same thing. He tells Ravana, don't do that, that doesn't befit you and all that. So a few shlokas we will see where all these are conveyed. So after he got to know that Indrajit is killed, he was deeply anguished. So he says, let me finish off this lady. That's what happens. He goes to Ashokavana. Here, look at these shlokas. Saputra vada santaptaha krura krodha vasham gataha samikshya Ravano buddhya Sitam hantum vyavasyata. A very simple shloka. People always say if you want to learn Sanskrit, best thing is to read, Valmiki. So the shlokas are very simple and vocabulary also will build. Prayoga of very familiar prayogas will become known to us. That's why reading Ramayana improves Sanskrit. That's what people generally argue. Look at it, very simple. Saha putra vada santaptaha, one who was scorched. Samyak taptaha santaptaha. And one who was deeply scorched by putravada. Putravada samtaptaha kruraha. He is very cruel and minded and so on. Krodha vasham gataha. He got subdued to krodha. He became enslaved by anger. That's a nice usage here. Krodasya vasham gataha, krodha vasham gataha. This is a tatpurusha samasa. Krodasya vasham gataha, krodha vasham gataha. One who is subdued by anger is one, that's how it is described. Krodasya vasham gataha, krodha vasham gataha. Samikshya Ravanaha, that is that Ravana. Samikshya, thought, deeply pondering, deeply thinking what to do. Buddhya samikshya, I don't know what brain he has. If somebody, deeply thinks, he should not have come to this conclusion. But anyway, Buddhya samikshya Ravanaha Sitam hantum vyavasyata. So, in the second line, the verb is vyavasyata, decided. That is the verb. Then the question is, who decided? Ravanaha. What did he decide? Hantum. Whom does he want to kill? Sitam. So that's so all those are connected. So Sitam hantum vyavasyata. Katam vyavasyata. How did he decide? Samikshya buddhya. So Ravanaha samikshya buddhya Sitam hantum vyavasyata. That is line 2. Pratyavekshya tam rakshaha sughoro ghora darshanaha dino dinaswaran sarvan tanuvacha nishacharan. Pratyavekshya tu tam rakshaha sugoraha ghora darshanaha dinaha dinaswaran sarvan tan uvacha nishacharan. So this there are so many words in Dvitiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam in second line. Nishacharan, tan, dinaswaran, sarvan. All those are to be collected together. It says that Pratyavekshyetu tamrakshaha. Tamrakshaha. Aksha is eye, tamra is copper or red, whatever you want to call it. So his eye was red. Tamrakshaha. When people get very angry, when your BP increases, what happens is the blood vessels near the, this pupil and all that can burst. That's how it becomes red. When the blood vessels burst, the blood leaks a little bit, and so the eye becomes red. That's what happens actually. Tamrakshaha. Sugoraha Gora Darshana. He is Sugora. He is very, looks terribly frightening to look at. And Gora Darshanaha, Dinaha. So he was very Dina because, his son's death has distressed him actually. So he was feeling distress. Dinaha. Dinaswaran Sarvan Tan Nishacharan Uvacha. So all the other fellows are also like that. Because they were all also like that. Dinaswaran Sarvan Tan Uvacha Nishacharan. So all the other the rakshasas who were around him, who were also a little distressed, he told them that I'm going to kill. I'm skip that part of it. He told that's what it is. Let me go to, Ashokavana. So I skip those and then, it is there. Mayaya mama vatsena Vanchanartam vanaukasam kinchideva hatam tatra Siteyamiti darshitam. Mama vatsena, by my son, Vanaukasam Vanchanartam, to just cheat them, to just hoodwink them. Mayaya, playing some trick. Kinchiteva hatam Sita iyam iti darshitam tatra. So he says, at that time, my son did a foul play, did a trick, and showed as though Sita has been killed. But let me do it now. So that's where he is coming to. There he did just to confuse this, distract and confuse the Vanara army. That's what he says, by my son, who did just to cheat them. Vanchanartam mama vatsena mayaya vanaukasam vanchanartam mama vatsena mayaya kinchiteva hatam tatra Sita iyam iti darshitam. See here, Sita has been killed by me, like that he showed. Right? Tadidam tatyamevaham karishye priyamatmanah vaidehim nashayishyami Kshatra bandhu manovratam ityeva muktva sachivan khadgamashu paramrishat tat idam tatyam eva aham karishye. He says, this is pleasing to me, I will make it real today. I will make sure what he did as Vanchana, I will do that as truth today. Vaidehim nasayishyami. I will destroy this lady. Vaidehim nasayishyami. Kshatra bandhum anuvratam. See, as I told you, Kshatra bandhu means who is not a great warrior. He is warrior-like. Brahma bandhu, I said last class. Kshatra bandhu was also there. Kshatra Bandhu, he is using the word Kshatra Bandhu to describe Rama. He says Rama is not a great warrior. He is warrior-like. He is a low-level fellow. Anuvratam. She is after him. So, devoted to him. I'll finish this Sita. Iti evam uktva, having said like that, Sachivan, right? Like that he told to his ministers or counselors, whatever. Khadgam ashu paramrishat. He quickly took his sword. He quickly took his sword and did that. That is what it is. So he was all to kill her. Veda vidya vrata snataha swakarma niratastata striya kasmat vadambira manyase rakshaseshwaraha. So when he was about to kill, what he did was, when he was about to kill, just a minute, I received a phone call from a very important person. I will just send a message. Okay. 1 minute, I will. Okay. So, Veda Vidya Vratasnataha Swakarma Nirataha Tata Striyaha Kasmat Vadambira Manyase Rakshaseshwaraha. Hey Rakshasa Ishwara, hey Lord of the Rakshasas, right? Striyaha Kasmat Vadam Manyase. You are also a Veera. You are a very valiant king also, and you are the Lord of the demons. How come you are contemplating killing a lady? Striyaha Kasmat Vadam Manyase. And before that he says, Veda Vidya Vrata Snataha. See, Snata, the word Snata is the nearest, equivalent, translation we have to make is one who has finished a course, graduate. So, Snatakottaraha means postgraduate. So he is Veda Vidya Vrata Snata, one who has graduate means he has learned all of them. That is the meaning there. Veda Vidya Vrata Snataha. Swakarma Nirataha. You are also, completed all your study and all that, and you are devoted to your own duty. You are a great king. How come you want to really kill a lady? Striyaha vadam kasmat manyase. Hey Veera, why are you trying to do this? Suparshva is saying this to Ravana. Maitilim rupasampannam pratyavekshasva parthiva tasmin eva sahasmabihi ragave krodam utsrija. Maitilim rupasampannam Maitilim, hey Parthiva, that is the end, hey Parthiva. Rupasampannam Maitilim pratyavekshasva, you just leave her away. So take your attention from her. Tasmin eva, instead of that, asmabihi sahasmabihi ragave krodam usrija. You deflect your anger on Raghava. Don't kill a lady. That's a very low-level act for a king and somebody who has done Vidya, Vrata, Snataka, all that. You have done all that. You are a great king. Don't go and kill a lady like that. You just leave her. You show all your anger at Raghava. Tasmin eva saha asmabihi saha, come along with us, let's go to the battle. And Raghave krodam usrija. So this person deflected him away from engaging in this bad act. Abhyuttanam tvamadhyaiva Krishna paksha chaturdashi Kritva niryahyamavasyam Vijayaya balair vritaha. Adhyaiva tvam abhyuttanam Krishna paksha chaturdashi Adhyaiva tvam abhyuttanam Kritva. You rise today, get up. Today is Chaturdashi, Krishna Chaturdashi, which is the day before Amavasya. Niryahya Amavasyam Vijayaya Balair Vritaha. So you go tomorrow. Today is Chaturdashi, Krishna Paksha. You vow today, go tomorrow, and the Amavasya day you finish him. With all your, army, you go and lead yourself to victory. Why are you trying to do this act of killing this lady who was defenseless sitting in one corner for the last 11 months and so on? You are so educated and so you are, celebrated as a great king. Why do you want to leave such a bad mark on your own self in the history? Say, similar thing only Vibhīṣaņa said when Hanuman was ordered to be killed. He said, Dutavada and all, don't do. Very similar he is saying here. Shuro Dhiman Rati Kadgi Rata Pravaram Astitaha Hatva Dasharatim Ramam Bhavan Prapsyati Maitilim. Shuraha Dhiman Rati Kadgi Rata Pravaram Astitaha. All these are for him. You are Shuraha. You are very valiant. Dhiman, you are very good in the mind, very shrewd. Rati, you are a good charioteer. Kadgi, you are a good warrior. With your sword, you can fight so well. Kadgi. Ratapravaramaastitaha, you know how to dexterously handle yourself in the chariot, in the war. Person with so much of qualification should not come here and then kill a lady who is sitting in the below a tree for the last 11 months defenseless. That's a very low-level act. With all these qualifications, Ramam Dasharatim Bhavan Hatva, go and kill him. Fight and kill him. Ramam Dasharatim Ramam Bhavan Hatva, having killed him, Prapsyati Maitilim. Prapsyati is future tense. Prapyati is present tense. The is there, no? That is future. Prapsyati means you will get. You kill Rama and you will get Maitili. That is the way you should do. Why are you doing this? So, like this, this Suparshva dissuaded Ravana, because in the fist of anger, Ravana also knows it. But in the fist of anger, the most important lesson both here and when Hanuman was spared, when in the Sundarakanda, the most important lesson is when somebody is in fist of anger, okay, it is Bhagavad Sankalpa and Anugraha that somebody stops you and gives you some good advice, and you also listen to it. That should happen actually. So fortunately, it happened here only because at least he left a history which is not even worse. Already his history is bad. If he had killed Sita now, it would have been even worse. That has been averted now. That's all we can say here actually. So 93rd Sarga, Rama has a fierce fight and he decimates the Rakshasa army. So there are 39 verses in the Sarga, and first 19 verses at the command of Ravana Rakshasa. So, Ravana decided, I think he saw the merit in this argument. So he comes back and he commits his army and commands them and say, let's go. Let's have a fierce battle with the Vanaras. 20 to 39, vivid description of Rama's single-handed massive destruction of the Rakshasa army. Rama inflicts a huge damage on them. So all those are described. I'm not really, I think, getting into any of those. 94th Sarga, lamentation of the affected Rakshasas and their, meaning their wives and so on. So there are 41 verses here. First 18 verses, the groups of affected Rakshasas lament as to why Ravana missed all signals about Rama's prowess. There was so much to read out of what is there. How is it that Ravana missed all that? Then they said, not only that, he has lost so many people. Kumbhakarna is gone, Indrajit is gone, many big leaders are gone. They are wondering, even after so many losses in the war, why has Ravana not learnt any lesson? And then finally they also recall the assurance of Brahma and Shiva, which seems to be true, that a lady will cause the entire destruction of the Rakshasa race. In fact, they recall that when Ravana got his boon from Brahma, and then when he came back and he became unstoppable. So when he became unstoppable, when he created so much trouble for the Devas, the Rishis and Gandharvas, Danavas and so on, they all went back to Brahma and said, what is this? This has happened. And then they went to Shiva. Then Shiva said, no, his final end will come through a lady. So they recall. It looks like all these information are known. Somehow it has, all people have got to know. So they were thinking that that is what is happening. This Sita is the lady. Ravana himself said that. We saw it in one of the Sargas. You remember 60th Sarga, somewhere we saw. Ravana himself has been thinking all these. So these people who were lamenting were also bringing all these issues. So look at a few shlokas. These are all very important to see. Dharmartha sahitam vakyam sarvesham rakshasam hitam yuktam vibhishane noktam mohattasya narochate. Dharma artha dharmascha arthascha dharmartha. See, this is a samasa of 3 words, so it's a 2-step process. See, if there are n words, samasa will be a n-1 step. So if there are 3 words, there is a 2-step samasa. So dharmascha arthascha dharmartha, that is the first samasa. 2 words are now combined together. Then it comes what is called tatpurusha samasa. Dharmartena sahitaha dharmartha sahitaha. That which is which is agreeable to dharma and artha. Dharmartha sahitam vakyam sarvesham rakshasam hitam. It is not only why it is dharma and artha sahitam, because that which is agreeable to dharma and that which can make artha even better, such things will be for the greater good. Obviously, that's why it says sarvesham rakshasam hitam. That which would have been for the larger good, larger benefit of the society of the Rakshasas. Such a yuktam, well established, yukti means very appropriate. It is not counterintuitive, it is not illogical and so on. Yuktam. So dharmartha sahitam vakyam Sarvesham rakshasam hitam yuktam Vibhīṣanena uktam. So the uktam vakyam, that sentence or the advice that Vibhīṣana gave, these are all the adjectives for it. And how was those, Vibhīṣanena uktam, Vibhīṣanoktam. Again, that is a samasa. It is again a tatpurusha samasa. Vibhīṣanena uktam, Vibhīṣanoktam. That which was told by Vibhīṣana was dharmartha sahitam vakyam. That was sarvesham hitam also, and it was yuktam vakyam also. All it had all that. Mohat, but out of delusion. Mohat tasyana rochate. This fellow Ravana did not listen to any of these. He dismissed all these advices that were given. This is what those people who are lamenting are saying. Vibhīṣaṇa vachak kuryāt yedi sma dhanadanujaha smashana bhuta dukkharta neyam lanka puri bhavet. The second line is a description of how Lanka is at this point in time, at this point of the war actually. Not today, at this point of the war. How is it? Iyam lanka puri dukkharta smashana bhuta. It is of, it looks like a burial ground. It has become a huge burial ground. Smashana bhuta dukkharta. It is nothing but only giving us sorrow. Dukkharta smashana bhuta iyam lanka puri na bhavet. Right? Na iyam, na, there is a na there. Na iyam lanka puri. You take the na from there. So iyam lanka puri smashana bhuta lanka dukkharta lanka puri na bhavet. It would not have become like this. That is what the second line is saying. First line is saying Vibhīṣaṇa vachaha kuryāt yadi sma. The sma in Sanskrit, sma is actually the thing for past continuous. Past continuous. Aham gachati sma. Saha gachati sma means he was going. So the sma is for past continuous. If dhanadasya anujaha, dhanada anujaha, that is also samasa. Dhanada is Kubera. Kuberasya anujaha is Ravana. So if only Ravana had listened to Vibhīṣaṇa vachaha kuryāt yadi sma, if he was listening to what Vibhīṣaṇa was telling, this Lanka would not have become a burial ground. That is what these people are lamenting here. Then, Kumbhakarnam hatam shrutva ragavena mahabalam atikayam cha durmarsham Lakşmanena hatam tada priyam chendrajitam putram Ravano nava buddhyate. Ravanaha na avabuddhyate. See, ava means up, or buddhyate reaches. So avabuddhyate, it has not, he has not understood basically. Avabuddhyate, avagachati means have you understood? Buddhyam avagachati means have you understood? That's what it is. So na avabuddhyate. Ravanaha na avabuddhyate. This fellow has not been able to learn any lesson. From what? That is what in the remaining part of the shloka. Kumbhakarnam hatam shutva. Mahabalam Kumbhakarnam Ragavena hatam shutva, having heard that this great mighty Kumbhakarna was killed by Rama, then Atikayam cha durmarsham priyam cha Indrajitam putram Lakşmanena hatam. So the remaining adjectives are all for Indrajit. Atikayam cha durmarsham, right? Durmarsham is one, see, Atikayam is for Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna is a huge bodied actually. So, I think Atikayam is for him, I think. Durmarsham priyam Indrajitam putram hatam Lakşmanena shutvapi, having heard that your fond son, who is also very unconquerable and so on, he was also killed by Lakşmana, right? Ravanaha na avabuddhyate. This fellow has not learnt any lesson out of this thing that has happened. Then, Mama putro mama brata mama bhartarane hatah ityevam shruyate shabdah rakshasinam kule kule. Rakshasinam kule kule, in every family. Kule kule means, see, like other language also, if you put the same word twice, it means every. If you have to say that, you have to say the word two times. Kule kule means, varam varam means again and again, like that. So kule kule, using word two times in Sanskrit, it's a special usage. It's called every. Dine dine, like that. Dine dine means every day, like that. Kule kule, grihe grihe, in every house. So kule kule, which is like grihe grihe. Rakshasinam kule kule, family. Kule means family. Griham means house. Although it has been written every house in the translation. Basically, in every family. Family means house. Both are sort of in this context at least fine. Rakshasinam kule kule, shabdah shruyate. There is something which is being heard in every family. And what was being heard? That is the first line. Mama putraha, my son. Mama brata, my brother. Mama bharta, my husband. Rane hataha, he has been killed in the battle. Iti evam shruyate. Iti evam shabdah shruyate. Where Rakshasinam kule kule. So much as water has flown under the bridge. What they are saying is, there's so much water which has flown under the bridge, and this fellow has not learnt anything from there. And they are helpless. They can't go and tell him. He is not going to listen to it. Some people, it's difficult to go and tell their mistakes. They are not going to listen. So everybody will keep talking around it among themselves. They will not go and tell. Then, Pita mahena pritena devadhanava rakshasaihi Ravanasya bhayam dattam manushebhyo na yachitam. When Ravana did this big penance, where he was supposed to have taken out one of his head every 1,000 years and those kinds of stories, finally when Brahma appeared before him, when he asked for a vara, he left the Manushas. He thought these Manushas are such a useless people. I am not going to have any fear of my life from them. So he asked vara only, leaving all of them. They are recollecting this. These lamenting Rakshasas. What are they saying? Pitamahena dattam. Pritena dattam. So with Pitamaha gave with, was so happy with Ravana's austerity. So he gave. Pitamahena pritena dattam. What was the vara he was given? Deva Danava Rakshasaihi Ravanasya Abhayam. That Ravana will not have any fear for his life from Devas, Danavas and Rakshasas. So, Manushebhyaha na yachitam. See, this Vara business, we read all these Puranas, there is a very interesting thing there. They will not give more than what you ask. And they will give precisely what you ask. Not a step more, not a step less. So, Manushebhyo na yachitam. Since he did not ask, Manushebhyo means Panchami Vibhakti, out of the Manushas. From the Manushas. He did not ask Abhayam from the Manushya, so he was not given. So there lies the trap. That's what these ladies, Rakshasa ladies are saying. Manushebhyo na yachitam, tadidam manusham manye praptam nisamshayam bayam, jivitantakaram ghoram rakshasam ravanasya cha. The next sloka says that tat idam manusham manye. Nisamshayam bayam praptam. I think this Rama, who is a Manushya, who has come, from him, I think we have got. Because he excluded them. So, see, Dharma works in its own way. Dharma is so all-encompassing that for the Alpajñas like Ravana and you and me, you may do your calculation. Dharma does a much bigger calculation. So, it clearly found out where this fellow missed, and in every, Bhasmasura, you see, Nrsimha Avatara is the ultimate. He tried every possible thing and then they manufactured something to sidestep it. Dharma is, is not Alpajna like it is Sarvajna. We are all alpajnas. So he says, idam manusham manye praptam nisamshayam bhayam. No doubt, I think we have got this whole fear he has got. And what kind of a fear? Jivita antakaram ghoram. Rakshasam jivita antakaram ghoram. Ravanasya cha. So this man has come, he will do the end. He will see the end of not only Ravana, but all the Rakshasas also. See, this is what they are saying. They are unfortunately not able to go and tell this to Ravana. He is not going to listen. They can at best keep telling to themselves. That's all they can do. 95th Sarga. Ravana marches to the battleground with a huge army. 54 verses in the Sarga. First 21 verses, Ravana vows to kill the two brothers and other Vanara leaders and ask his leaders and army to march for the battle. Then the next 16 shlokas, a huge army is collected by Mahaparshva to march to the battlefield. Then 38-54 battle erupts between the two armies. All those happen in the 95th Sarga. So what did Ravana say? It's very interesting to see it because I want to do a little bit of analysis after all these. That's why I'm bringing some of these shlokas. Adya banair danur muktaihi. I am now splitting that. Muktair is there. Since I am reciting, I'm one pada I want to break. So muktaihi. Adya banair danur muktaihi. Yugantaditya sannibaihi. Ragavam Lakshmanam chaiva neshyami yamasadhanam. Adya banehi danuhu muktaihi yuganta aditya sannibaihi Ragavam Lakshmanam cha eva neshyami yamasadhanam. This is what Ravana is making his his claim. Adya, today, Yuganta Aditya Sannibaihi, that which can bring an end of the Yuga. Yuganta Aditya Sannibaihi, that which is so powerful. These are all talking about the Dhanur, the Bana which is released from the Dhanuhu. Dhanuhu Muktaihi Banaihi. And what kind of a Bana is this? Yuganta Aditya Sannibaihi. Adya Ramanam Lakshmanam Chaiva Yamasadhanam Neshyami. I will take them to the Yamapuri. I will take them, which means I will take them to death. I will, kill them. That is the meaning of it. So he says, Ragavam Lakshmanam Chaiva Yamasadhanam Neshyami Adya. By what? Banehi. What kind of a Bana? Aditya Sannibaihi Banehi. And how this Bana will kill them? Dhanuhu Muktaihi. That which is released from my Dhanus. So that is how that shloka is. Karasya Kumbhakarnasya Prahaste Indrajitosthatha Karishyami Pratikaram Adya Shatruvadadaham. Karasya Kumbhakarnasya Prahasta Indrajitasya Tata. Indrajitoho Tata. Because it's a Dvivachanam. So Indrajitoho. Sashti and Saptami Dvivachanam will be Oho. Prahastendra Jitoho Tata Karishyami Pratikaram Adya Shatruvadat Aham. Shatruvadadaham. So Shatruvadat, by killing the enemies, Aham Pratikaram Adya Karishyami. I will rectify, I will do the counter. Pratikaram. I will do in return what needs to be done. In other words, I will take vengeance. For what? Because Kara was killed, Kumbhakarna was killed, Prahasta and Indrajitaha, Tata. Like that, so many are there actually. So, Karasya Kumbhakarnasya, Prahasta Indrajitoho Tata, Karishyami Pratikaram Adya, Shatruvadat Aham. So, by killing these two people, I will, avenge the death of these people, is what Ravana is shouting before he marches into war. In a few sargas from now, he is anyway on his way out. Ravanastu mahabahuhu sachivai parivaritaha ajagama mahateja Jayaya Vijayam Prati. Ajagama. Ravana tu Ajagama. Mahabahu Ravana. Sachivaihi Parivaritaha Mahabahu Ravana. One who is surrounded by all the ministers. Mahabahu with great mighty shoulders and all that. Ravana. Ajagama Mahateja. Ajagama. He came for what? Jayaya Vijayam Prati. So in quest of victory, he came. He came to kill and claim victory. That's what the shloka is saying. Ravanastu Mahabahu Sachivaihi Parivaritaha Ajagama Mahateja Jayaya Vijayam Prati. Then Ravanena Bhyanujñātau Mahapashvamahodaro Virupakshascha Durdarsho Ratanaruruhustada. Ravanena Abhyanujñātau Mahapashvamahodarau. There are dvivachanam there. Virupakshascha Durdarshaha Ratan. There are three words there. Ratan Aruhuhu Tada. Ratanaruruhustada. So Ravanena Abhyanujñātaha. Anujñāta. As per the wish of Ravana. Anujñāto, who were agreeable to what he said. Jñāto is two people. And who are these two people? Mahapashva and Mahodara. Mahapashva Mahodaro, both of them. Then Virupakshascha, also Virupaksha, Durdarsha, right? Who was difficult to overpower. Ratan, because there are now more than two people, there are multiple people, so Ratan is plural, not dvivachanam. Ratan, Aruhu, means they got into the Arohana, Arohana we say, get up and get down. So Aruhu, they got onto the chariot, tada, then, because he said, let us go, then they all set out for the war. That's what these shlokas are saying. So I want to take a little pass here, so far what we have seen, because it is something which we need to actually understand. See, we are now going to see this fellow is going to go away. Another 10 sargas, he will be out. We need another 2-3 classes to finish him off actually. Now, we need to now think through this trajectory of self-destruction that Ravana has gone through. Now, this trajectory of self-destruction is not for Ravana alone. Why are we seeing it? Because in our own ways, in our own life, the agenda may be small, agenda may be big, whatever it is, we will have a very similar problem. So we need to be very cognizant of this. That is why I want to stop by for a minute from what we have seen so far and understand how do people walk into destruction. I call it self-destruction. But they only destroy themselves. They don't need others to do it. So what are the ways of people walking into destruction? What is this self-destruction trajectory? This is something which we can learn from all these shlokas, from all these sargas. We can distill this idea. Let us spend a little time on that. First thing is, when people are driven entirely by ego, the ego is so strong. When people are driven entirely by ego, what happens is, I know everything attitude will just overpower them like anything. It will glow like anything. I know everything attitude. I don't need anybody to tell anything. I know everything. This is coming out of a very powerful, very strong ego. The Ravana, see, although you can see Ravana here, this slide is not for Ravana, it is for our life. Because we can have our own issues like this, which we have to be aware of. That is why I want to bring this idea. Now, I want to bring shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. These are all there in one chapter called Daivasri Sampat. Chapter 16 in Bhagavad Gita has all these ideas. If you think about it, I want to connect that. Look at this. He said, Idam adhyamaya labdam imam prapsye manoratam ishwarohamaham bogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. I got so much, I'll get even more. Whatever I want, I will get. I am the Lord. Ishwaraham. I am so powerful. I want to enjoy. And Siddha, I have got everything that I want in my life. Balavan, Sukhi, I am enjoying, I am very happy. That all feeling, all these flow out of, these are all Asuri Sampat. These are all flowing out of a very powerful ego. That will actually blind many things. It all can happen to us also. Why do we have to read, Ravana, distancing ourselves from it? Why do we have to leave Rama? In fact, the entire Ramayana we have been reading, we never distance from it. Off and on, I have been trying to bring it into our life situation. So we don't have to, analyze in such a dispassionate way, thinking as though it will happen only to Ravana. Look at this. If we are driven too much by ego at times in our life, very strongly, this I know everything attitude will come. Then that is where this problem, many things happen. Such a person gets very angry when well-wishers advise. If it is on the contrary to what they think, because they know everything now. Since I know everything, if somebody comes and tells me, I will actually get, first thing I will do is I will get angry. I will not spend my time to listen to what this person is saying. Is there something that he's saying? Is there some meaning to what he says? All those opportunities are gone because I have this I know everything attitude. So such a person gets very angry when well-wishers advise, and that advice happens to be on the contrary to his thinking, right? And what would that person do? Therefore, he'll dismiss that person, he will dismiss that idea, he will defend his position. He say, because he knows everything. So, he thinks this fellow doesn't even know. He is out of ignorance, he is telling things which are wrong. This is the conclusion that such a person will come. And above all, he will ridicule the well-wisher also. He did all that to everybody who advised, particularly Vibhişaņa. Ravana did this. We saw it in Yuddhakāndam. He ridiculed Vibhīṣaṇa, dismissed this idea, threw him out, and made him look small. Everything he did. So he says, "Adyo yam abhijanami konyosti sadrisho maya." Who is there like me? I know everything. So adyaha abhijnanavanasmi. I know I know everything. Who are you people to tell what you want to say? This is what in Asuri Sampati, you will see this in chapter 16. So I brought that line from that shloka. Then, all these are happening, but events unfold, which is completely contrary to what he thought. When events unfold to the contrary, this person who is entirely driven by ego simply do not see anything wrong. This is the tragedy. When the Rakshasa ladies, just now we saw, when the Rakshasa ladies are able to see through what is happening, he is not seeing. He sees everything is fine. And all these are stemming out of I know everything attitude. All these are, I know. So he gets completely blindfolded to ground reality. This is what, I'm telling you, it is not for Ravana. A person who is driven by, ego will have this problem. That person will be blindfolded to ground reality. In our own life situations, we may end with this kind of problems. That's why I want to talk about it. The person will be completely blindfolded to ground reality. So he says, "Idam adhyamaya labdam imam prapsye manoratam." So he will go unfettered. That's what in Asuri Sampati Krishna says. He will say, "I got this, I will get even more. I will keep on going. All these I will not even see." As though it has not happened. As though they are not even events worth looking at and even take cognizance of. That is what complete blindfolding will happen. Idam adhyamaya labdam imam prapsye manoratam. That kind of a thing will happen. Then, but the reality is on the contrary. Therefore, you will have to start losing the ground. Ravana lost all his brother. He lost Indrajit. He lost Prahasta. He lost all those people. No. We saw a long list. One day I showed you a list of people who have been killed so far by whom. One list I put actually. So while beginning to lose ground, how will they react now? Their ahankara will only promote them to unleash terror and anger. That is what it will manifest finally. It's all unleashing terror. Some cheap tactics, fighting at somebody, shouting at somebody, find out who is the most vulnerable, and then, that's why this Ravana wanted to go and kill Sita of all places. Because Sita is nowhere engaged in this nonsense going on. She is the centerpiece which is you are doing. She did not get involved in any ways. So these fellow, so such people, what they do, they look for a scapegoat. They look for where they can unleash all their anger and terror. So unleash terror, and because they use very harsh words, people are very afraid actually. They push people to the brink, so people stop advising him also. But they silently walk through the fallout of that. That is what in Ramayana also happened finally. That's what these ladies are saying. If the Rakshasa ladies can see through it, why is this person not seeing through it? Because it all started with ego. So the point is, the whole destruction starts there. That is where the whole thing starts. Again, Krishna has some, shlokas in Asuri Sampath, which we can take. Asau maya hata shatruhu hanishye chaparanapi. So he says, I have finished so many people, I'll finish some more. That is the position he takes. Asau maya hataha shatruhu hanishye. Hanishye is future tense. Cha aparanapi. Whoever is there, I'll finish. That's what Ravana also said. I will now finish, Rāma and Lakşmaņa also. It's what the Asuri Sampath is there. Also, Prabhavantyugra karmanaha kshayaya jagato hitaha. In fact, Krishna comes to a final conclusion. In Gita, he says, Prabhavanti ugra karmanaha. Yeah, so, ferocious in their acts, which is furthering only their ego and nothing else. Prabhavanti ugra karmanaha kshayaya. Finally, what will happen? Destruction. Jagataha ahitaha. They are not hitaha. They are not very people with hita. They are ahitaha. They destroy themselves. They destroy the universe or people around them. That's what Krishna says. Jagataha hitaya prabhavanti ugra karmanaha. These fellows engage in this. So see the connection between Gita now. So Gita has everything. That's why I wanted to bring it today. Gita has everything. Very diligently reading Gita and understanding word by word and shloka by shloka and slowly doing manana, that will give us everything. So this whole episode of what is happening to Ravana, one can just look at 5-6 shlokas in chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, Daivasuri Sampath. You will be able to connect all these. So I thought, because all these are happening in the previous sargas, I wanted to connect them and show that it works not only for Ravana, it can work for anyone. It can work for us, so we must beware of the trap. So I thought I wanted to just do the bit of an analysis of this, of the character Ravana as it is happening in the last few sargas. Okay, then there are 3 sargas. I am not going to get into those areas. It's mere fighting. There's not much tatparya that I'm really talking about. Sarga 96 has 36 verses. And what is happening in Sarga 96 is basically Sugriva kills Virupaksha. See, remember, now there are only a few leaders left with Ravana now. And they are Virupaksha, Mahodara and Mahapashva. So in the 96th Sarga, there is a description of how Sugriva kills Virupaksha in the battle. I mean, there is a certain description that you can see. In the 97th Sarga, again there are 38 verses. Sugriva now kills Mahodara in an encounter. So Sugriva takes turns and finishes these 2 leaders of the remaining 3. Mahodara was killed. And Angada has not killed for a while, so he is taking rest, so he has come back again. In the 98th Sarga, again a very short Sarga, 26 verses, it describes how Mahapashva was also killed at the hands of Angada. So what has happened now in 98 Sargas we have come. What has happened now is, with all this noise that Ravana makes, completely blindfolding himself, pushing his army and the remaining leaders to the inevitable, forcing them to fight the war, bringing them into the battlefield, he lost these 3 also. So he is thinned down now. Everything is gone now. What is remaining is only Ravana. Actually, in the 108th Sarga or something, he will die, I think. We have only, his death is very imminent now. So, so far we have come. I thought this was a logical point to stop. Therefore, I think we will stop here for the day. We will utter the Shanti Mantra and then we will close it for the day. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्य परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्रा पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधना सधना सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं शृण्वन् रामायणं भक्त्या यः पदमेव वा स याति ब्रह्मणस्थानं ब्रह्मणा पूज्यते सदा हरिः ओम. Okay, so with this we will close it and we will continue next class. Okay.